Hi, here I am, undergraduate freshman Gothling, and this is my very first Spooky University reply video, so I thought that it should look spooky. I know this will get old real quick. Well, the question at hand as posed by Professor Blue Flamingo seems to be, what is the role of music in our society? Well, I think it's a really complex question, and I think that a lot of different various answers can be given. When I think about my own relationship to music, I know that in the very early days, the very early years of my life, I was raised in a house that really didn't embrace music. Music was something that I kind of had to discover for myself, largely through a lot of the friends that I had when I was younger. You know, they would have record collections, or they would listen to the radio or whatever. And little by little, I would sort of gain more and more knowledge about what was out there in terms of the then contemporary scene, and also, what had come before. And I just ate it up like a ravenous beast. I just, when you discover something brand new, there's nothing quite like it. So I became, in my late teens, a music consumer. I would hear things that I would like on the radio, either AM radio or FM radio, which would feature things that were not in the sort of mainstream, in the single buying rotation kind of thing. Album tracks. I very quickly became what is known as a deep album listener. I would always favor the tracks that they didn't play on AM radio. So that was always kind of an interesting and cool experience. Well, this can take a whole lot of different avenues from here. But I think my predominant sort of focus here mostly involves where music has gone, or where music is, in the here and now. And I see, back during, the last couple decades, certainly, music has more and more become corporatized. You hear about, major stars having their tours sponsored by major corporations and all this kind of thing. And presumably that's because, tours are so expensive, and, putting on shows, larger and larger, more spectacular looking shows became more expensive. And they had to sort of offset the cost in some way or other, so they would get a corporate sponsor. But it seems more and more nowadays, music is so incredibly corporatized. I think that music has always been used to kind of set the tone. Muzak would be used in elevators and things. To sort of, calm people, go from floor to floor. I think that nostalgia, the whole nostalgia wave, is used very much. Like you go into grocery stores, and now, you're hearing all of these tunes that we would hear when we were younger, and there's something sort of comforting about that. Political campaigns. Music's always been used for as long as you can go back to bolster enthusiasm stuff. But more and more you hear about artists selling off their back catalogs. People like James Brown and David Bowie selling their music for more money than one human being could ever spend in 5 lifetimes. But I mean, you cheer for them because there are so many other musicians and so many other singers and artists who never got the big paycheck. So, when somebody strikes it big, you just say, hey, good for them. But what happens to that music afterward is that it's controlled. It's controlled by corporations, corporate entities, who use the music as they see fit. So, that's a question. So from now on, when you hear, some old David Bowie, it's being controlled and it's being used by entities, What is it? I don't know. I mean, David Bowie's song used to sell computers, like a Carly Simon song, years and years ago being used to sell ketchup. I think she's probably still sorry about that. Poor girl.